Perfect. That's just let me know when everyone can see us.
Still nothing on Instagram or YouTube.
Is it hot in Cape Town today?
Yes, it's like a.
It's 400 degrees here in Pretoria. Freaking insane.
No, it's nice. It's not hot, but it's like a.
I don't know. Elsie didn't pay her electricity bill here in the studio. The studio is like a flippin' sauna in there. No, we can't put windows in here.
Yes.
Um,
Nothing on that platform today.
okay, let's just give it a minute. For those that joined us on Zoom, how can they ask a question? Can they put it in the group chat?
They can do a Q&A as well.
Okay, so anything that you want to, let me just, okay, everybody can type. Anything that you want to process with me or ask me about, please, you're welcome to do so in the group chat. I am indeed available and ready. So just a few minutes, make sure the other platforms all log in correctly. You're going to put more lights on me.
Yes.
Jeez, bruh. Okay. No problem. I will try. Now, okay.
So YouTube is a go.
Okay.
Facebook is on. Instagram should be then on shortly. I think there's just a small delay.
Yeah, I think it's like 5 or 10 seconds delay.
So, jy kan begin solank as jy wil.
All right. Let me know when you see everybody. And apparently we're having some issues with the website. Are you aware of it? I just saw in another group chat here.
No, what's the issue?
I don't know. I think Moss already had a chat to Dave. Is Dave on?
I'm not sure David's joined tonight. No, but I'll check in with him now.
Okay. Just maybe saying, if you don't know about it, that means it was solved before it was a real thing. So that's good. 100%. Are we live on TikTok?
Yes, you are.
Okay. How many people are on?
Currently 180.
180.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Anybody has a question, business related question? I know some of you reached out today. You're welcome to post it now. And the way that I'm going to do this, not to get distracted by all the comments, is I've got the team on a different device. They're going to screenshot the question for me, send it to me on a group chat, and I'll start unpacking all your questions. Before we actually do that, not almost, but every single company that we consult for, the first problem they present to me is, where do I find great salespeople, and how do I keep my staff and myself motivated? And any of you that subscribe to our newsletter, it was exactly the point that I made yesterday. And it's very, very important. If you don't subscribe to our newsletter, I think the best way to get that newsletter is I post it between 6 and 8 p.m. on a Sunday evening, depending on how much content that day had to be posted. And we don't want a 15-minute interval, because Saturdays and Sundays we post more than usual. So between 6 and 8 I'll post my newsletter. But one of the main things was, how do I keep my staff motivated? How do I find great salespeople? Firstly, it's very, very difficult to find great salespeople. Not because there are no great salespeople out there, but because each and every culture differs. So what leadership needs to remember is you need to manage expectations up front, nice and early, and you have to have tough conversations with your teams. So for example, typically throughout the month, depending on which teams we're pushing and driving, I drive tier 3, which are the most experienced salespeople in our company. So these are the best of the best of the best on the African continent. And the managing of the expectations conversation is always around input. My guys and girls have been with me for years. They can see me when I walk into the office. They can feel the energy. They can see the energy. The biggest thing is input for them. So I manage expectations with input. We are going very hard 40 cars for two of the people that sell in tier three. So each one has to do 40 cars this month. We still have, well, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 4 working days. They're very close. They're both about 30 cars at the moment. So we're gunning for the 40 cars. And the only thing that I'm driving with those two boys is input. How much input are you pushing in? How many apps are going in? How many leads are you effectively handling? Because there is a time that the amount of leads coming in, we generate. I just saw the report now, literally as we were speaking. We generated 220 leads for the company today, which is an awful amount of leads only from the call center. From my social platforms, I generate probably as much per day out of 2.5, 3,000 WhatsApps. And at what point am I overwhelming the salespeople where effectiveness is actually plateauing? And then in some instances today, I had an instance where the customer said, is Eddie busy? You referred me to Eddie, or the Isuzu with stupid low mileage. Is Eddie actually busy? Because it's been 20 minutes because he hasn't contacted me. Then I know, boom, overwhelmed, stop the leads going to his side until he picks it up and everything's like a level and then go forward. But where do I find great salespeople? You need to be a salesperson that is of the highest caliber. You need to develop yourself as the sales leader in order for you to inject that into your culture. And most importantly is input. Now, when you look at the some of the more junior sales teams that we drive, which are the newbies, the rookies, the greenies that just started out. So they came into the company, they qualified as cadets, they worked side by side next to one of the legends, one of the tier three salespeople for a minimum of 3 months, which means every single day they were part of each and every conversation between the salesperson that is at elite level and the consumer. We look at how they negotiate in the same room with me. How do we negotiate? How do we negotiate trading prices? How do we speak to different eyes? How do we sell ourselves to the workshop? How do we sell ourselves to the finance and insurance team? How do we sell ourselves to the bank representative that walks inside? Because the dealerships out there, just they are oblivious. And realistically speaking, the woman or man at the bank, the BDO, even though they deal with the F&I directly, not necessarily the salesperson, it is vitally important to build those relationships so that when the opportunity presents itself and you have a chance to speak to them, negotiate the deal, you've already, it's not like, oh, it's that Tony from Absa, or it's that uncle from Standard Bank. You've got a one-on-one relationship with them. So managing expectations up front is the most critical part when it comes to salespeople. Another mistake that I've made for many, but many, many years has been fatal one. When you recruit, it's very important to sell the dream as well as the nightmare. Sales leaders love to sell the dream. So typically I'll recruit salespeople this way. Come in, okay, cool, what's your background? Good, good. Did you play sports? Because that's very important. If you play sports, that means you're competitive. Did you like your coach? No, why? He drove the F out of me. Did you guys win? Yes, we won that season. So as a coach, right, so I'm testing for that character. Is that person going to be a person that I'm going to walk around him or her eggshells and be scared to challenge them to compete? Was that person that enjoys direct feedback? No, the coach he was hard man. He was an asshole. But you know what? That coach drove me harder and harder, and then became third in the league, or became first, or became fifth. It was a ton of fun. I learned a lot about multiple relationships. That's a person challenge. Now, selling the dream is very easy. Okay, great. If you're a competitor and you work really, really hard at McNaughton's, you can also come to work with Louis Vuitton shoes, just like Eddie. You can also drive a 2025 Ford Ranger, brand new out the box, just like the Jeep. You can also come to work like Eddie with an M4 or MK1 or X1, whatever the car is that he decides to drive that specific day, just like Eddie. Now, the challenge with that is 6 months down the road, the guy's still earning very little money relative to Eddie's income. And that person says, you know what, Pops, this is not for me because I'll never get I've been here 6 months and I'm not earning enough money to buy very long shoes and drive an M4 and New Ranger like you do. So when you flip it on the other side, sell the dream and the nightmare. The moment I started doing that, the retention in our company is almost 100%. We do lose some salespeople from time to time. It happens. It's normal in sales, but it used to be literally like every month in two would jump ship. Every month in three would jump ship. Bring in, retrain. It's frustrating AF. The moment I started selling the nightmare, okay, what do you see when you see X? This is his income, six figure, sometimes multi six figure income monthly. What do you see? Well, I see the car, I see the lifestyle, I see the tag watch, I see the posts on Instagram. He's always posting like expensive cognac and all these extravagant parties and all this other stuff. Okay, how do you think he gets that done? I don't know. Let me tell you how. 200 connected calls a day, every single day. He is a call center, one man army call center. Yes, he does have Prosecco. He's a cadet that we decided to pay a different commission structure. And he's cadet for life. The harder he works for it, the more commission it earns. There's a percentage that goes to Prosecco. But the only way to achieve that is by you having to go through this pain for this period of time, and that's how you come out there. Today, at about 11 o'clock, I interviewed an absolute stud of a guy. He is a rock star. He is phenomenally good. Absolutely killed it as a team leader, building brand new BMWs. Resigned, went to Mercedes Benz, to the competitor, moved, picked up everything with the kids, with the wife, moved. Okay? And then he moved again. Then he started real estate. He worked a couple of years in real estate, got two paid off properties with probably 5 million rand, and he's busy buying a property here. Reaches out, sends me a CV. Said, brother, what do you want to do with me? Bobs, I like your style, followed your journey. I've always wanted to come into the automotive space. I know I can sell. I've sold these properties in the last 12 months. This is my journey at BMW. I started here, eventually became a team leader. Said, right, you're a grown man, you've got a wife, you've got kids. Here's the nightmare. I don't need to sell you the dream. Social media sold you the dream. That's why I went for the interview. The next 6 months, you're going to earn this much money. Can you survive on that money? Okay? Bobs, I can, but explain to me your methodology. Well, here's what will happen in 6 months. Unlike your income at XYZ company that did this, and 12 years later you started earning this amount of money, it will be flat for 6 months. You're a talented guy. I can write my name on a piece of paper and sign it, but in 6 months your income will do this. So it's not a gradual increase. It is just flat, flat, flat until I need to make sure that I inject as much knowledge and energy so that that Rubik's Cube clicks for me. Once it clicks, your income will go through the roof, but you need to write it for 6 months. Says to me, Bobs, I'm in. I said, I'm not in. If you don't tonight, go and have this discussion with your family and your wife because she needs to be brought in. I don't want you to. I'm in, Bobs. I lead the household. Speak to your wife. I'll back to you tomorrow. If it's a no, it's a no. But I want her to understand the input that I require from you. Because if you work for me, if I'm awake, I work. That's one of the pros and cons when you can't win championships unless you outwork everyone. You can be how talented and have how much of good systems, processes, procedures, marketing, views. You have to work. So when I'm awake, I work. When you're in my team, you work. When I'm awake and I send you leads, 9 o'clock at night, acknowledge, send. If there's an emergency, understand. But this is my process of how I lead people. Okay, cool. So Bob's what you're saying to me is November, December, January, February, March, April. Said write those months off, you're gonna earn a very small salary. May, I would have clicked all the buttons that need to click inside so that you understand how to sell yourself to F&I, how to sell yourself to workshop, how to sell yourself to Decra, how to sell yourself to all these companies that we work with. Because if you need to go and push a car through Decra now and you're not on good terms because it's their job, they must effing test the car. Come there. Thank you very much for testing the car. Really appreciate it. Thank you for finding these 4 faults. I will take it to the workshop, have them repaired, and then I will bring the vehicle back for a retest. I appreciate it. Not be a DOOS, sorry, I don't want to say an ugly word, or then go and fight with the people and cause a scene. Once those things click, you can do 20 plus hours. Then you make six figures continuously and it never ends. So that's the selling of the nightmare part that sales leaders forget. And it's vitally important because it's a tough conversation and you will lose the people that wouldn't have made it anyway right up front before I'm not even going to talk about the time that I invested. I'm never going to get back. I'm speaking about the time that they will invest that they'll never get back, and it's frustrating for everybody, and you reset at zero. Enough said. I'm going to kick off with the questions. I'm talking a lot to that, Elsa.
Good, yeah.
Okay. My son Louis has started a car wash or car detailing business. Any ideas to boost his business? Okay. Very, very, very nice business. We ran a car wash that was open to the public for many, many years. It's like one of the easiest things to market. You need to figure out meta ads. You need to figure out how to geo fence lock your meta ads. So when you create a piece of content, whatever it is, you get a company, professional company to shoot your ad. This is what we charge. This is the process that we use. This is how our cars get washed. These are drivers. Meet the team. The owner is holding a spray gun, and this is what it costs. Maybe create a loyalty system. I like the loyalty system very, very much. We used to have that at our car wash. Every 10th car wash was free. Then I brought it down to every 7th car wash that was free. Then I brought it down to every 5th car wash that was free. We never had space. It was literally packed. People were fighting me. They were rolling me. I was washing cars myself for the longest time where Netmac 1 is. Where Tier 3 is now. Just before our coffee shop where our SUVs stand. That little, I don't know how many square meters it was, but we had every single contract from every single dealer washing and valeting their cars that I couldn't keep up. It was that place printed money. So geofence lock meta ads, you need to understand how to do that. Maybe a 3 kilometer radius or 5 kilometer radius. 5 kilometers is perhaps too much. Have a look at how many car washes are in the area, what they charge, and just ramp at them hard. Because with a loyalty program, you eliminate everybody around you in your area. I hope I gave you some great ideas there. How do we subscribe to the newsletter? Okay, so newsletter else we need to perhaps because there's a way to subscribe on our website. If you go to the website and you go to newsletter, you can subscribe there, or simply just on Sunday off between 6 and 8. I always post a newsletter. My Instagram, my personal Instagram, I've got a private channel. You can subscribe to the private channel. I only post my newsletter there. That's religiously what I do. As soon as the newsletter is proofread, because some people always get shouty on Facebook, especially Bobby, you're making spelling mistakes. And I always respond, listen, man, I'm trying to make millionaires. I'm not trying to make it. So, like, leave me alone. But now I send my letter out to proofread, and then I post it on it's a private channel on my Instagram. If you go into my profile, you'll see my profile. Sorry, you'll see a private mentorship channel. Just subscribe to that or the website. Okay, next question. Hey, Yubi, really enjoy each and every video. I would like to know during qualification trading a year old from purchase and use, how do you make that deal happen, or do you walk away? I would like to know during customer qualification trading old from purchase. Okay, bro, you like me, your grammar. Um, okay, how do you make it happen if a customer has a year-old car and you're going to trade it in? So there's two ways to handle this question. One, if that customer has bought a vehicle from you specifically and is trading it back in with you, you need to manage expectations up front. So when you can't trade in that vehicle where there's a break-even point 32 or 36 months, the consumer needs to know that. So when I qualify you for a vehicle, what do you need the vehicle for? Boom, 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 boom. Does it tick all the boxes? Our family expanded. 2 kids now. We need a Fortuner. I'm dealing with a kick-ass customer close to the sea, and he says as soon as your driver comes here, the crayfish is ready, pops. I'm like, fuck, I wanted to drive the car. If there's crayfish, like, why can't I drive the car? But anyway, the qualification process happened on a Sunday night. Why? Okay, great. I agree with you. Fortuner ticks all the boxes. Here's the Fortuner. let's go and do this deal. However, sir, 32 to 36 months, depending on the mileage that you do, is the sweet spot for us to upgrade you. Do you understand what I just said? No. Okay, cool. Let me start again. Between 32 and 36 months, your debt at the bank will be equal to my offer. If you trade in before the time because your bum is itchy, your gat yuck in Afrikaans, then that's okay. But the way that you scratch that is by putting down some money, number one, or number two, by us loading that shortfall, whatever it is, 30, 40, 50 grand on top of the next car. Then we need to make sure that you understand that it's not 32 to 36 months, it's going to be most likely 48 months. Are we clear? Sweet Bobs, I'll drive the car for minimum 3 to 4 years. If I drive it 5 years, what then? Well, then you have positive equity. The moment you trade in the vehicle, we will pay you more than what you currently owe for the vehicle, which means you're going to have either a deposit or you're going to get a payout into your bank account. Sweet, sweet salute. Now, if the customer didn't buy the vehicle from you, the conversation is pretty much the same. Sir, I do apologize. My colleague that sold you the vehicle perhaps didn't explain it to you this way, but this is where we are. In order for me to trade in this vehicle, your equity is negative. We have to load a little bit of money. These three cars can't take it, but there are three options that can take it. Which one of the three are we going for while you're keeping your car? Now, salespeople are so afraid to speak to a customer like that because what if you lose the customer? Well, better lose the customer now than 2 3 weeks down the road he's got buyer's remorse and he freaking hates you and you never see him again because that's a one night stand affair. You want a customer for life. Even if that customer doesn't buy from you now, many of the customers that I've said this to eventually 12, 18 months later come back, Bobs, I'm ready now. Sweet, let's pull a new settlement. Boom, you've got a deal. Hope I added value to you. I need advice on how to partner with dealership like yours if possible be mine. Pitch my proposal. Bro, I don't have your proposal. That's a weak question. If you want to ask me a good quality question, I'll give you a good quality answer. You want to know how to partner with a dealership like me and you pitch my proposal. I literally get 30 to 40 pitches a day where if it's a weak pitch like this, I'm saying this on camera, I just block you because I don't want to work with an amateur. I'm not saying you're an amateur. I'm saying you should have had your pitch within the question so that I can give you advice. So you wasted the opportunity. All right. Elena sent us the place on the website. If you can maybe post that somewhere, that link. Is it possible to trade in a 2018 Toyota Corolla Quest Automatic with almost 162,000 Ks? Absolutely, brother. We'll literally trade in anything. Anything at all. If you can drive it here, we'll trade it in. If it can't drive and we have to send a low bid, we'll trade it in. As long as it's legally on the road and as long as we can verify the paperwork. We then take those trade-ins, the iffy ones, we sell them to the trade, to the dealers that go and do whatever they need to do. But a 2018 Corolla Quest Automatic with 162 on the clock, that car should be pretty sweet still. And even potentially, if it's nicely taken care of, we'll probably just keep it for stock and not wholesale it because it's a Corolla. All right, next one. As an entrepreneur, how do I get investors to believe in my expansion plan? That's a great question. And on 4 occasions, there was investors that tried to buy us. One was very, very recent, as recent as about 9 or 10 months ago. I made a very cool video about it where I had multiple meetings with a self-made billionaire, 57 companies. These are freaking beasts. And how you attract investors is very simple. You need to be able to produce results. Your investor is not at the least worried about the culture that you have started from the beginning and you worked your tail off in the middle of the night burning the candle for 10 years. What's my ROI, bro? If I give you 2 million rand today, typically what they want is within between a 3 and a 5 year period, they want to 3x their money. If I give you 2 million rand, will you give me 6 million in the next 5 years? And if the answer is yes, explain to me logically how. So how much is your revenue now? What will you do with the money? And then how will that generate more money? And the worst thing that you can do is, once you pay me the money, I'll advertise more. Like they'll literally run out of your office. You need to understand your business's numbers, your formulas, so that you say, this is the production cost of me making this laptop pouch. Okay, this is the production cost. It cost me 100 rand to produce this. I sell it at 200 rand. I can't keep up with the orders and I'm flat broke all the time because the suppliers won't give me a line of credit. If you invest 2 million rand with me, I can sign Gain, whatever other shop to be able to order in bulk. And then my production costs, because I'm not ordering 100 or 200 at a time, I'm ordering 10,000 at a time. I can negotiate the price from 100 rand to 65 rand, which gives us an ROI positive profit of X. That's where I'm going to spend your money. These are the contracts. We are ready to sign them. I need your money to be able to pay these guys to manufacture, to produce for these guys. So typically, take that what I just said and just modify it to your business. Hope I added value. Okay, next, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel with my Masterclass. We've got a podcast here. Have a look there. I've interviewed on our podcast. I've interviewed criminals. I've interviewed absolute monsters. I've interviewed the previous marketing manager for Nando's, and she went over to the States and she worked directly with the CEO of Walt Disney as the marketing manager for North Europe and Asia and I think Northern Africa. Absolute beast. 1.5 hours of she's just dropping gold bombs on your head the whole time. And then a couple of celebrities. We had a magician here bending steel spoons. That freaked me out. I've never that dude was in here bending steel spoons with his mind. I've never had a headache in my life. I had the biggest headache. That guy confused me. That was a cool one, but yeah, go and check it out. We've got some phenomenal content. Ratio leads. What is your conversion ratio on leads received? I'm going to give you that figure now. Warren, that's a nice invasive question. I like it, brother. I like it a lot. So we received at call center 332 inquiries, which is not leads. These are people that inquired on vehicles. 332. This is today's stats. How many minutes old? 45 minutes old. The 332 inquiries were pre-qualified by our call center of 11 people to produce 220 leads. And then we break it down from lead source, which I'm not going to give you. But each and every piece of marketing effort is measured on a line like this. How many inquiries versus how many actual leads that inquiry generated. Then we go even further. The highest quality of lead source that yields the highest ratio of inquiry to lead gets directly given to the highest closing ratio salesperson, which means bottom of the funnel, highest quality lead, auto trader will go to a rock star, to a tier 3 person to make sure that we have the highest probability of success. If you're a dealer listening to this and watching this, PBD, I actually posted a photo of me today. When we were unpacking, when I visited him for the weekend, and we were unpacking my plan to go and create a cadetship program that's online, that tests you online, etc. He gave me his blueprint, and he asked me, how does the lead distribution work in your company? I said, it's names, and we throw it up. Oh, okay, so you're a communist. I said, no, I'm not a communist. My parents ran away from the communists to come, and they created one. I said, sir, I don't understand. He says, you're a communist. Communist. Everybody's equal. I said, we're all people, right? He says, wrong. Your highest closing ratio salesperson should get the highest quality lead because that's the person that has the highest probability of success. That's a capitalist. You want to get those leads? Work hard. Close deals. So there's a very slick way that we do that. But there, if you were awake during this conversation, you should have taken home a lot of value. Okay, next. Okay, as a salesman, how much can you make consistently as a salesman? Matty, also a nice invasive question. Multi six figure if you are consistent. Okay, so what is a six figure? It's 100,000 rand net, multi six figure some months. But six figure if you're consistent, not very hard to do in our company, and I'm giving you figures on what our guys earn every single day. This is our team earns that. But again, these boys and girls work with me, which means when this live ends, I'll tell you now, I've got 65 new conversations, not WhatsApp, 65 new conversations since this live started. It was on zero when it started. So this will carry on until 10:30. So me and four selected team members will communicate right through until 10:30. That's when I go to sleep, and then that's where the leads stop going up. Then tomorrow morning, I usually wake up anything between 176 on the low side and 500 conversations that have happened after I went to sleep, and then those get distributed when I'm in the gym, and then on my way to work obviously when I stop at the stop street and the robot, and then we carry on until 10:30 at night. So it's not easy, but multi six figure is not. I mean, that's not. It's when I sign those off, it's not. It's like normal. It's normal. But the boys and girls work really hard. Okay. Is price the main focus in business? Is price the main focus in business, or what are the other factors to be successful? So it's a great question, and 3 years ago, after our massive expansion into wholesale and retail, I brought the team together. I said our business model is changing immediately. As of already, it has changed. I'm just informing you of the change. We will no longer be wholesaling cars to dealers while retailing cars, whatever is left. From today on, we put the customer first and we put profit second, which means if the customer is happy with XYZ that needs to happen with that vehicle, and we make no money on the vehicle or we lose money on the vehicle, we're still doing the deal to make sure that we build up our reputation and brand and become the number one dealership on the African continent. So for me, I'm 41 years young. I've got the energy of an 18-year-old, and I want to go for another 40 years because until I'm 80, I'm going to just do this at the very highest level. Eventually, once I maintain that, put the customer first before profit, I know our company will grow. And I mean, we've got the awards to prove that that is actually what we do. I'm not just saying that on camera to look smart or sound like I care. I actually freaking do that. That's the only reason we win the awards because our customers are happy once they leave the showroom. So that's a good question. Always put the customer first and profit second if you want to do this for a long time. If you want to be here for a good time and then just run a business for 2 years and use that as a cash cow and move on to the next one, I don't want to give you advice on that. I'm not into that. But for me, it's a question that you ask me: customer first, profit second, and then make sure that you keep that customer in the middle, especially on deals that you lose money on. That is that is the most important and most valuable thing that you can do for your future as an investment, because that's what it is. It's an investment. You're investing money in this customer to make sure you keep your reputation lacquer and you don't lose face in front of him and his crowd. Okay, next. How do you get loyal customers or good clients? I started a small business and want to know if you could meet some for coffee in Johannesburg. Coffee when I'm in Johannesburg. If I can meet you for coffee in Johannesburg. I really used to love doing that. Thanks, I used to love doing that, but I can't go to Johannesburg to meet you for coffee, brother. 6 branches, 200 people, 250 phone calls, 2,500 WhatsApps a day. I literally, if I run 10 minutes late in the morning, my whole day is screwed up. It's a mess. So I'd love to, but you must come to Pretoria, not to
Ask
Germany.
for Masterclass.
If you want to have a one-on-one session, or if you want to book me for a specific topic where we deep dive and unpack your business, that's a paid event, 90 minutes, 25K. We sit in the room here, and I'll help you process the current problem that you're having. Um, then, how do you get loyal customers or a good clientele? Kai, okay. How do you do that? Well, you do that by making a very, very strong promise up front and over delivering on the promise. So typically when I meet a customer, say, ma'am, sir, here's what I'm about to do. I'm about to over deliver on the service and the quality of the vehicle. Should I fulfill every single request that you have to the T and go further and higher above than your expectation? Would it be fair for me to ask you for a Hello Peter review or to trade a review, as well as maybe one or two referrals? Because I'm going to make 2,000 Rand on this deal. That's how much my commission is. After tax and everything, I get 1,500 Rand or 1,800 Rand, depending on the structure where you are. But the way that I really take great care of my family is by referral and repeat business. So would it be fair for me to ask you at the end of this transaction to please refer two or three of your friends only if I over deliver on my promise? Yes, yes. Now we're going to take 2 to 3 days to obviously prep the vehicle, deliver the vehicle, whatever the situation is, get your proof validated a day or two. Now you're thinking for the next 24 hours, who am I sending Bobs? At the bar this weekend, John was speaking about thinking, I'm going to send him John. John, I'm dealing with this Kazi Bobs. Man, he's a rock star. He's funny, he makes jokes. He constantly keeps me updated, sends me a little video. Here's your car in the wash bay. Here's your car at the depot. Here's your car at Dekra. Ah, they failed at Dekra because one of the globes is not working. So I'm going back to whatever, upfront, in the process, making sure that I communicate clearly with you, and at the end I ask you for an approval. Now, for anybody that was right that was watching, that referral script has made me tens of millions of rands. Tens of millions of rands. Not a million, tens of millions of rands only on that referral script. Train your entire sales team to do that. Eventually what happens is 60% of our business, 60% of our business is repeat and referred customers. 60% of our business. With all the leads that we get, and we generate so much attention, 350,000 unique views per day, 60% of our business is repeat and referral customers. Killer, 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 killer question. Well done. How do I generate new leads? Burger Smith. How do I generate new leads? So, in our masterclass, we teach the three unique skill sets of sales. There's a finder's hat, there's a closer's hat, and there's a builder's hat. Now, if you rewind the question before your question, that was the builder hat up front. A finder hat is a very, 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 very highly paid skill set. You need to understand by reverse engineering, okay? Reverse engineering the end user of your product. For example, I use this example all the time. I've got a 2019 product in the wash bay, 4-liter petrol VXL, highly spec car, white black leather. It's a boy, full service history, just over 100,000 k's. Now, if I close my eyes and I ask myself this question, Bobs, who is standing in the delivery bay of this product? Okay. Is it a 19-year-old girl? No. Is it a 25-year-old man? No. Is it a 30-year-old married man? I don't think so. So what's the profile for that consumer that will buy that product? Well, 45, 50 and above, lives in a certain area in Pretoria, Johannesburg, also interested in maybe fishing, hunting, hiking, outdoor, high LSM, has a credit card, uses their credit card online. That's how you reverse engineer the customer so that you can speak their language. So when I do a presentation on a car, I don't need to speak to my fans that love M3s. That's not a video for them. I hope none of them see that video. I literally hope I get 20 views on that video. I don't care that it gets 20,000 or 200. I don't care because I'm speaking only to the person that I just described. 45, 50, 55 and above, loves fishing, hiking, probably a father tows a quad or boat or whatever the hell they tow with a product and live in this area and speak this vernacular. Same thing when I'm selling a bucket, for example, a DCI bucket, diesel MP200. Same thing when I'm selling a Ranger. Same thing when I'm selling an Everest. I always use that example. The Tanny that drives this Everest doesn't wear Skinner Brookie like the Tanny that drives a Fortuner. Okay, this is the Tanny that smokes cigarettes but outside the car. Make a joke. I'm not saying the Tanny smokes cigarettes and is like this big Tanny. I grab the attention of the woman. I grab the attention. Ek dra nog as nou en dan skinder broekies as ek Pilates doen. I've grabbed your attention. That's how I reverse engineer the end user in the first 3 seconds. I grab that attention and then I control you. And we do a walk around the car. I explain in my own quirky way whether you like it or don't like it. If you don't like it, unsubscribe, block me, whatever. If you're going to be spitting hate on my channels, I'll block you. I don't want to argue with dumb people. I've got no time for stupidity. If you want to have a debate with me and it's a logical debate, perfect. Let's do it. I'm not scared. And if I lose publicly, I'm going to say, salute, sorry, you won, bro. I learned my lesson. I will improve. But if you're going to, someone called me a Gazina scammer yesterday. I said to him, firstly, you can't spell scammer. So you like obviously a 100% product of 30% pass rate. Okay. So first spell scammer right and I'll answer you. And then he retypes the message. I'm like, okay, I can't, there's no logic here. Block, goodbye. I don't want to waste my time with you. But find a hat, highly paid. If you can learn how to do that skill, someone can sit you down and teach you how to do that skill effectively. You will always be rich. No matter, you can go to mining, you can go to cars, you can go to bikes, you can go. I'm actually consulting a company and we're going to get them back on. I consulted this company before we started our consultation business. We're going to get them back on. It's a crowdfund company. One of the founders went to school with me, and they help people in need and they raise funds. If you're a good finder there, okay, this is a skill set that's so valuable, and I've taught her how to do this. If you can find people that need money, you can find them effectively, and it's a worthy cause. There's a lot of people that have open hearts and open wallets to be able to donate that money to you. Okay, but you need to find them. This is how you find them. This is your finder's app. I like your question. Hope I added value to you. Bobby, where do you get your shave? Shave on my head. I think it's the shave on my head. So Gary Rom for men. I go to this the coolest salon, man. Two guys are playing FIFA there on the TV, kicking back. They give you sparkling water, like a music playing. I talk shit to everybody. I make jokes, and then they shave my head, and then afterwards they use a foiler. I think it's called a foiler, and then we just talk up for 25 minutes. It's the best time. It's so relaxing. Uncle Bobby, we offer custom watches for corporate gifts. We can organize something amazing for you. Mike Becker. Mike, do a design, send it to me. Let me check it out, brother. Thank you. What's your view on MG range? What's my view on MG range? What's my view on MG range? Okay, so about a month ago, one of the MG dealerships was closing down, and they offered us. It looks like the size of like a Duster. I don't know the exact model, but that vehicle's dealer billing, which means the price that the dealership is buying it from the factory, was 285, and we could get those cars at 225. I voted yes, let's buy them. There were 10, and Mossad voted me with George, and they said we're not buying them because we're not sure of the future. Read this article, read that article. Now, having said that, we all three agreed later on that it was a mistake not to buy them. We should have bought them because we would have sold them, because NG seems to be under control and doing really, really well. That was an isolated incident. The dealership didn't perform. It was very inland, like weak marketing, weak leadership, weak team. They couldn't sell the cars, so they just wanted to take the loss and sell us the 10 cars. Obviously, some other dealers bought them and made the money. What do I think of the product? For me, the challenge is, and George Mini taught me this. So if you're watching, appreciate you. You like literally, I was fighting for the best price. The lowest price and the best price is a race to the bottom. where nobody wins. So that's my concern with the Chinese cars, cannibalizing themselves, trying to be cheaper than the next person. As a car, look today, you can't. It's not allowed to build a shitty car. They go through NCAP, they go through all these other things. It's not going to be a bad car. The only funny enough, got a friend that I met that was here from overseas. He's a mayor of a very big district. He is an absolute top tier man. He is a top ultra G. Mayor and also has car dealerships. He's no longer a mayor, but he was a mayor for many, many years. Very highly connected politician. And he's got a Peugeot dealership, he's got a few, and he's got a few Kia dealerships. And what he said to me is, because he looked at the Mahindra, he's like, Pops, what are you doing with these Mahindras? I said, bro, we can't keep up. He literally says, we don't have them in Europe. And I thought about it. I thought, do they rust? What's the issue? It's a good bike. He says, no. Only reason why we don't have them is they don't meet the CO2 emissions standards for Europe, but it's not their target market. The target market is Asia, the target market is Africa, South America. India obviously uses a lot of those vehicles, so they are actually perfect for here, but we don't have them in Europe. Not because it's a bad car, it's because they don't meet the emissions. So that's the challenge that Europe will have, because now I think it's CO2 7. He spoke of 7, the number 7, where literally in 2030, the only way to achieve 30 grams per whatever the measurement is to go plug-in hybrid, because otherwise you won't be able to achieve the emissions, and then eventually electric and all fun is there. Hope I answered your question. I don't think it's a bad brand. I think you need to be on the lookout to get the best price, obviously, because these guys are cannibalizing themselves. I tell you, they're like literally new dealers are selling cars at a loss to make target and not to lose their license. It's a freaking mess. I don't like that game. It's not good for anybody, including the customer, because 3 years down the road, they've got a newer, better, with more features version at 20% less of the price, because they're competing against the Chinese who do exactly that. Newer, better with more features. The one Cherry Tiggo 4 DCT was suddenly from 400 to 299. Fuck, the same car in like literally 18 months. How am I going to explain to the guy that paid 400,000 rand that his car is now 299, same. So that's my challenge. The fight for the best price is a race to the bottom. Very fearful. Where would be the best place to start a young man to enter into the industry, and what books would you recommend to cultivate the sales mindset? Okay, so it's a very important question. So where would I suggest a young man start in sales, and what books? The answer is very, 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 very hard for you to process. If you have opportunities to start, if I had an opportunity to start as a young person, and I'm not selling my company, I'm just going to give you my version of what is true. As a young person that is going into sales, the only company that I would work for is a company where I have access to the person that started and drives the company, real access. You go to one of these lists, you go to Motors, who started Motors? Nobody freaking knows. You have to Google that person, the actual warrior, the actual person that drove that company up. So as a salesperson, you need to have exposure to the actual operator, the person that negotiates, makes deals. Do I have arm's length exposure? Can I sit around that person, even if it's for an hour a week, so that I can literally feed my brain with his energy, with his attitude, with his strategy? Can I ask him questions? So to start off in sales right now, you have to go and work for a company, even if it's less money, even if it's 10% of the money you'll get at a big company where you'll be a number, that you have access to the person that grew that company and is actively working in sales. Because you can drop me literally. Man, I've said this. This is the example that I use. We had a very nice boy that worked for us. I'll give you his name. Very nice boy, Andrew. Andrew was 76 or 78 kilos, and he could deadlift like an incredible number. He was about 25 or 35 kilograms away from the African record at his body weight, under 80 kilos. So we connected him. We had the strongest man in Africa, deadlift strongest man in our studio. We had to get a special chair for this guy. It's like 160 or 80 kilograms. He's a freaking beast. Like consumes 8,000 calories a day. Like holy shit, that's like a week for me, brother. But what do you eat? He says, I eat this and this. Super nice guy, highly intelligent, like IQ, EQ is through the roof. So I connected Andrew. We wanted to create the obviously at his weight category, for him to pull the deadlift for the record. Eventually, I don't think they clicked. But anyway, I say to Andrew, you're 78 kilograms, you single digit body fat. I can see your freaking bicep veins. You look phenomenal. If I'm able to take two things away from you, but I can't take both, I want to take one. Which one do I take? Here's your option in front of everybody. So it's like, what do you mean? I said, listen to me. I'm training you to be the best sales machine ever. Listen to my question. I can take your muscles away, take them away, or I can take your knowledge on how to build those muscles away and you get to keep the muscles for the rest of your life. What do you want me to take away? He says, take the muscles. It's easy to get these muscles. I know how nutrition works. I know how vitamins work. I know how creatine works. I know what my training schedule should be when I'm bulking, when I'm reverse dieting, when I'm that. So he goes 8 layers deep within 30 seconds. He says, take the muscles. Who cares? I can build them up again. Same with sales. Drop me off. Take away all my social media. Take away my influence. Take away the fact that, I get greeted in traffic. Uncle Bobby out. Uncle Bobby out. Take away everything. My brain, I'm a nobody, zero. Don't have a company. Don't have a dealership. I'm a millionaire in 6 months. It's just because I've developed the skill set to be able to be a good finder, a good closer, and a good builder. And in 12 months, I've got a company, and in 2 years, I'm competing for number one dealership in the country. That's a fact because nobody can take away that from you. That's what you need for your son, to work around somebody that has that skill set that he or she, son or daughter, can extract, make their own, and then place it into the market. I'm a very successful commercial broker, and I never thought I could learn so much from a different industry. Warrant 14. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much. I keep learning from everybody that I meet. I ask more questions than I answer in real life. I promise you that. The gentleman that was a mayor in that big district, I spent time with him on Saturday night. Uh, Funny thing, I can see him. He's got a big watch. I don't even want to say what make because that watch is multi 6 figure. He's got the loafers. He's got the tailored suit pants. He's got the probably 15,000 rand shirt. He's a top G. I had the opportunity to spend Saturday night with him. Him and his family that live here came over for supper, and I asked him. I said, "Sir, would you like me to present you with some options on cigar? Do you smoke cigar?" He says, "Bobs, I'm a cultured man, and I can see you're cultured as well." I said, "Well, 2 months ago I became cultured. I used to smoke loose draws, but now I smoke cigars because I stopped the loose draws." So I present him the options. Obviously, he knows cigars. He picks the most expensive one, the nicest one. I'm like, yes, I knew you'd take that. We have a cigar, and for about 3 hours, he got in 2 questions. Okay, our dealership is much bigger than his dealerships put together times 10. He got in 2 questions. That's all. I got in 200 questions. The amount of value that I extracted from that man, I can probably, if I was to quantify it in money, 10 million rand worth of ideas from that one supper on Saturday night. So I appreciate that you're getting value. I'd love for you to give me some of that value back one day. Next question. Is the C200 sold, Uncle Bob? I don't know which C200. Check on the website. What is the requirement to apply for vehicle at midnight? Fika docs, if you're not behind on any accounts and haven't been for the last 90 days, shoot me a WhatsApp. I'll send you the link with the documents required, and then we'll get you approved. I had 2 very nasty arguments with customers. Probably one was like 1 o'clock and one was 4 o'clock. My blood pressure was through the freaking roof. A guy phones me and says, "Uncle Bobby, I've been following you for the past 2 years. I love your shit, man. I love your content. Like a brother, how may I serve you today?" Well, listen here, right? I applied at these 2 VW dealers, and I'm declined. And I said, listen, let me just stop you right there, brother. You've watched my content for 2 years. Okay, you went and applied somewhere else. So because they got you declined, now you want me to go and mop up the mess they made. Please do me a favor. Unfollow me, block me, never ever interact with me. If I ever come up on one of your feeds, just block me. Don't listen to anything that I say because it doesn't help. I'm speaking to the wrong person. I want to lose a follower today. Gets all heavy with me, and I said to him, sir, you don't understand. I'm not being arrogant. What I'm saying to you is the following. You went to an amateur F&I. They cocked up your application. Your information is recorded the way that VW applied for your loan at the bank. I can't go and fix the application now because it's there. I can do nothing. Goodbye. So I'm not going to get more excited than that, but you have to make sure that you apply with a very good F&I. And they get all the documents that they require from you. Don't say, I'll send it tomorrow. And then because they're in a hurry, they want to do the deal. They submit with less documents. Perhaps your extra income isn't loaded. And then it's a F-up. So make sure that you prepare the pack that we need. Everything goes in complete, nicely, tightly packaged to the bank. Get the approval, validations, boom, you can get the car. Hope that helps. If you are an extremely competitive market with enough capital on hand to drive out competition, is it best to reinvest that capital with the goal of drowning out the competition at low margins over the long term, or is it best to reinvest that capital into alternative strategies and products that will lead to higher margin gains in the short to medium term, or both? So I like both approaches, but I like this one more. If you can acquire your competition, okay, we have a sit down, we have a heart to heart. This is how much money you have, I have more. Eventually, I'm going to drive the prices down to the point where I'll bankrupt you. Okay, this is it right here. Sit down. This is what business really looks like when there's no cameras. So we could either merge, you could sell me your company at a profit now, or we could have this war. I'm comfortable going both ways. If you have that if you have that conversation with that person, and your intent is not to bully, your intent is to collaborate. You nine and a half times out of 10 walk out where there's a deal struck, a hand is shaken, and you probably acquire if you have enough capital. You said you have enough capital. The other thing you can do is, yeah, you can play the long game, but that becomes technical because when it's a price war, it's a race to the bottom. It literally is. Then the third question is that market big enough for you to be able to one by one by one by one by one acquire your competitors around? I don't know the industry, the ins and outs. So I'd love to ask you more questions. But is there enough growth? Can you expand the business to R1 billion a year business within that industry? And how big are you thinking? If it's not, alternatives. You sound like a talented guy. You're a competitive guy. Alternatives might yield that for you, but they also will distract you. So you need to be prepared. You can't serve two gods. You can't. You have to. Everything's a risk. If you're a Muslim, it's a risk. If you're a Hindu, it's a risk. If you're a Christian, it's a risk. Everything's a risk. But you have to go with one. And we'll see at the end. We'll see at the end. I'm a devoted Christian, and I believe that at the end I'll go to heaven because I've accepted Jesus Christ as my Savior, and that's what I go with. And I can't serve two gods. That is who I serve. And the same with the business. We're doing these master classes, and it's not like I'm serving two gods. This is directly connected to building my brand, which will then in return build up trust with you lovely people that will support me eventually. So it's all in on one thing. But I don't do this and then operate a cigar shop on the side and then also operate. It's this. Everything that supports this is linked to this. It's one thing. Hope I gave you some value, brother. I bought a car that was taken over by insurance, but repaired correctly. Morisa and CPA don't help, and it's been 2 years. What can I do? Very tough question because it all depends on the dealership. So the dealership needs to make that decision. Are we prepared to take it back? are we not prepared to take it back? I can't answer that question unless I have all the facts. And if Miosa decided that, you should keep the car, then you should have knocked on the dealership door and asked them for help. If you have, and they showed you a way, it's just each and every dealer has a different strategy and what they want to achieve at the end of the day. I can't comment on who they are, what their intention is, but I'd speak to them and have that conversation. Right, next one, Bobby, how's it? When is there another special draw on a giveaway card? Cheers. Puna's Koning. Remember that movie?
Yeah, yeah.
That was a funny Afrikaans movie. So, brother, I can't freaking wait to tell you guys what it is. So, because we have a national lottery license, it's a highly, highly regulated thing. It is, when we did the lucky draw, I mean, ours was there filming. We had the entire team. Two representatives from the National Lottery Service were there. One was sitting in the stand watching, and one was, if you guys go and watch that video, there was a lovely lady that was next to me. Right next to me, I was inside that booth with all the tickets flying. So she gave me the signal. My hands were like this. Okay, the tickets were checked. She gave me the signal. I looked at her and she went, now. And then I just closed my eyes and I grabbed one ticket. It's such a regulated thing. It took us almost 3 months to get the approval for the next car. All I'm going to say is it's a 2026 model, which means it's a brand new car. It's red in color. Okay,
It
I'm
has
waiting
four
for-
wheels.
It has four wheels and it's something that every South African will want. It's a brand new 2026 next level street cred, very, very expensive car. And if all goes well, I should have the car tomorrow afternoon, which means we'll record that car on Wednesday, which means most probably on Wednesday night, we'll post the first video of the raffle. It will be 100 Rand a ticket, but if you buy anything from 5, you'll double your ticket count. That's all I'm saying. Have you had a scam car and sold it and found out later? How did you resolve it? Yes, great question. I've had 14. I've had 14 cloned vehicles that has passed through our system. 14, 1 4. Very simple resolve. When they take the car from the customer, I refund them in full. Give them the opportunity after I refund them to purchase from me again if I've earned their trust. Then each and every cloned vehicle has taught me something else. Until about 4 years ago, 5 years ago, I had a meeting organized with the head of the syndicate that does the cloned vehicles through my crime intelligence connections. It was like a 3.5, 4 hour sit down where I had 14 files, processed each and every file with a gentleman, very nice guy, highly educated, highly articulate. I had to ask him, sorry, sir, what does that word mean? Like one of the most intelligent people I've ever sat down with. Very, very smart. And he explained to me and unpacked how it's actually done. We created a system in our company. It's a 5-step system. The buyers pay the cars. It's been 4 years, thousands of cars. We buy 200 plus cars a month from private individuals, not a single clone car. Called I have solved the problem. I've said it to the banks. I've said it to everybody. And I know how to solve the problem, and they don't want me to solve the problem. Sweet, no problem. I just solved it for my company. I offer this as a paid service because I'm not going to give away my knowledge for free. I refuse because it costs me millions of rands to acquire this knowledge. I'll train you at a fee. Dealerships say to me that I'm too expensive. I said, sweet, no problem. One dealer got clubbed for 750,000 Rand. Toyota Hilux double cab and a Polo. Boom. Brand new Polo Vivo, a year or two old, R1 million lost. Attended my course. It's been 2 years. He hasn't bought a single clone car. But I will not give away my knowledge for free because then it won't be used and it's not valuable. Next question. Do we have a technical issue, Alice?
No, it was an hour. The opposite.
Moet ons restart.
Yes.
Wat moet ons afsit? Wat?
Mina, hy stel weer aan, gee net weer vir die mense kans om dit op te put.
Okay. Okay. Uncle Bob's 24. Can I ask what channels you took to find supplies for your vehicles? Okay. Vehicle parts. I'm going to answer that question in private. Key points to make a good car salesman. I can't teach you enthusiasm. Impossible for me to teach you enthusiasm. You need to come prepared. You need to come with enthusiasm. You need to be absolutely aggressively patient. So you're aggressive on what I teach you, but patient for the six figures. Okay, enthusiasm, aggressively patient, aggressive on the tactics that I teach you, hyper aggressive while being patient for me to teach you more so that you can grow into six figures. And the last one is you need to, you need to know how to speak to yourself. Self-talk is key. Like, if you can't keep your word to yourself to wake up a certain time and do certain things and speak to yourself properly, because most of you don't even know how to speak to themselves. There's a Chinese proverb that said, I don't even think negative thoughts of myself because it will affect the warrior inside. When I lose a deal, I lose a deal. There's a very famous saying. Ask any of my teammates. When they lose a deal, they'll send me a message. Uncle B, we no longer do lose it. We're no longer doing this deal. I died with my sword on my chest. So it means when I'm lying there dead, my sword was in my hand and I got killed fighting. Okay. I cannot emphasize how important that is. All right, Uncle, 20-year-old trying to conquer this thing called life. Could you please recommend two books? Um, Greatest Salesman in the World, Och Mandina, best Facebook for a 20-year-old. And I actually there was a post today out of the greatest salesman in the world. And let me think. Uh, Be Obsessed or Be Average by Grant Cardone. Very good book. BOBA. Be Obsessed or Be Average, Grant Cardone, and Greatest Salesman in the World, which is actually a religious book. Unbelievable. It's so good. I don't want to ruin it for you guys, but the last chapter will give you goosebumps that will last at least a month. Okay. For ACB early next year, budget 300 to 350. Lots of options. Reach out when you're ready, brother. Uncle, I want to get into selling cars. Where do I start? I already answered this question. As a 20-year-old trying to conquer okay, this is a repeat. But why is the Mazda low-key putting their brand and products? And telling they have excellent warranty. Okay, why is Mazda low-key? So what Mazda hasn't done really, really well is evolve. They've got the same boring engines. It's a very good car. They've got the same boring engines. They're getting outdated. They're getting avian fuel with less power. They need to do something about it, and they need to do it now. Are they reliable? Yes. Is it a good car? Yes. Does it have a great warranty? Yes. They just need to catch a wake up and move on with the times. That's my opinion. Stellantis will be opening a factory in South Africa in 2026. I supply automotive steel to vendors and OEMs. The materials are looking rough on some ends and promising on others. Yeah, I don't want to comment on that because there's a lot of red tape and government BS, and people have to jump through hoops before they can establish here. However, on the government side, there has to be processes and procedures in place, and you have to employ uh, local labor. So it's a very complex question. I don't know. I haven't been in that room to have a discussion. I've been in sales my whole career. If you can push through the rejection, the sales are worth it. If you get rejected enough, it becomes second nature, and move on and find those sales. So yeah, to a degree I agree, but to a degree I disagree. Um, that mentality of next. Eventually, it's very discouraging. What you need to understand is replay each and every call and understand where in the call it actually fell off because it's always your fault. Did you not qualify correctly? Did you ask the wrong question at the wrong time? Was your tonality off? Was the language off? Sometimes I'm the strongest closer in the company. When I speak to a customer and I can feel that there's a real language barrier, I say, "Sir, I'm so sorry. I don't want to misrepresent something. say it in a way that it doesn't sound right to you. I'm going to get, what language do you prefer? What's your mother tongue? It's Zulu. Sir, XYZ will phone you in the next 5 minutes. Thank you so much. I could probably out. Because I know I don't have the highest probability of success with that person there. But Maklatsi does. And she'll close the customer and he'll love her forever and a day. And we serve him better than I could ever serve him. Even though in my mind I'm stronger closer than her. Okay. I appreciate your content. I've taken away so much from your videos. Appreciate you, brother. Do you have any plans to keep Netmark as a private family business with succession plan or looking to take on outside shareholders to merge it? So we've been, I've been made offers 4 times. The last offer was very, very recent, and I said to the gentleman, I don't need money. I don't need money, because if you give me more money, all I'll do is buy more stock. I need to figure out how do I duplicate the depot in a different province. We could have opened Cape Town, Durban, P. We could have opened all those locations Rustenburg long ago. I'm not ready for it because I don't want my expansion to cost me on my quality. So I don't need an investor that will just give me money for stock. That's not what I'm interested in. I need to figure out and duplicate my team in a way that we can duplicate the depot in each and every province so that there's a mid-MAC quality stamp on every car, no matter where you are in the country. But for now, we're sending them on trucks. Thank you for the question, brother. I was thinking of visiting Netmark again, but I'm concerned the treatment would be the same again. I don't want to judge a dealership based on a single interaction. So if we failed you, brother, I apologize. We're not perfect, but we're honorable. So if we failed you and you would like to give us another chance, thank you so much. If you don't, we will improve if we know where we failed you. Good evening, sir. Hope you're well. Roughly 4 years ago, my wife and I were in the market for another vehicle and we visited Midnight in Pretoria North. We did not receive great treatment. 4 years ago, brother. Okay, so you can tell me where we failed you, and 4 years later we should have improved there. The book behind you, The Psychology of Money. Have you read it, and what is your opinion of it? Psychology of Money was a gift. This book here, this was a gift to me. I think when this book came out, when was it? I think it was just after COVID, if I'm not mistaken. I've read it. It's a great book. Mr. George Mini gifted me this book. I think he still wrote me a message. Let me see. No, the one he gifted me is in my library. But The Psychology of Money is a great book. Phenomenal, phenomenal, phenomenal. And if George Mini gives you a book, it means it's a very, very good book because he reads a lot. So if you consume 20 or 30 books and you say these are my two favorites because they take these five and they combine, read these two books, you don't need to read the other 20. I've done the work for you. Is there a way to find out if kilos on a car have been turned back? Lots of ways. It's a 40-minute conversation. Lots of ways you can do that. Best thing to do is find obviously, off the motor plan, BMW and those guys don't keep it on a central system, it's individual, but just find the previous owner. If there's a gap of 2 years where the car hasn't been serviced and the kilos are 3 years, the car stood in my garage, red flag. Bobby, did you ever think about starting a new car dealership with OEM? You guys are killing the game. Sure, you would kill new cars. So I've got a very, very. I'm almost there to do a deal with a new OEM. I'm fearful, and I'll tell you guys why. But the person that I asked this question addressed it very well. Problem with new OEMs, especially Chinese cars, and I freaking hate them for this. There's a certain group that has a big checkbook. That group goes to this Chinese brand and says, I will buy 400 of this spec, but I want a better price. So if that spec's dealer billing, which means dealers are paying 385 for this car, because he has a big checkbook and he bought 400, he gets them for 340, which means the dealers that have paid 385 cannot compete against him simply because he has more money. Now, I had this conversation with many people. I can have the best brand. I can have the, the best reputation. We can be 10 years back to back auto trader and reputation winner. If it's a brand new car and you can get it 20 grand cheaper down the road, and it's a brand new car, it's a hard sell long term. It's not an isolated incident. There's a stock shortage. It's a freaking, I hate it. The fact that this guy's got a 2 billion rand floor plan, and he swings the biggest you know what, and then the factory actually cannibalizes their own dealer network. It's a Chinese factory, and it's one of the biggest ones, and I hate it for that. Sorry, I hate them for that. But because he has a bigger checkbook, that means the guy across the street is FUCKED. That's what he is. Because how do you compete? He's got 400 in stock at 50 grand less than what you paid for it. Anti-competitive, and it comes from the factory. I'll throw a brick at that car. I promise you that. Sorry. Appreciate you. Favorite car brand, man. It's so hard. Each and every. We just got in a VW Tiguan R with acro pipes. Yeah, it's like a proper family car that's so windgat and it bluffs when you change gears. So I love all cars, man. I love them all. Uh, G series or F series, I love the G series. The F series is amazing. We've had it for a long time. I love them. They never gave me problems, very little, and we've done phenomenally well. The G series is a nice car, man. Go and drive one. It is so nice. It's refined, it's powerful, it's quiet, it's stable, it's sporty. Even the small 320, it's the best car. It's very nice. Okay, and that's it. Are we done? Boom! 1 hour, 20 minutes. Thank you so much. I hope I left you better than I found you. I've touched on many, many topics. Before I said goodbye, we're going to be here for a couple of minutes afterwards. If you would like me to unpack anything in greater detail than I have now on your specific business, marketing, we've got a killer recruitment strategy, whether it's building up salespeople, how do you train them? Do you have a system? Do you have a program? We've developed a Moodle on online university. That's why I visited PBD. That's what they helped me with. Whatever you want to unpack, whatever it is that you want to do, you can book me for a 90-minute session in our studio in person. If you're somewhere else in the country, then we can do it over Zoom, recorded, professionally recorded, with the right lights, packaged and sent back to you and your team. My intention is to train the trainer so that you can take that knowledge back with you. If you come in, we'll be together sitting on the same table, processing. 4 cameras will record us, high quality sound, and we'll give it back to you. One session is 25K. If you buy 2 sessions at 50K, you'll get a third one with me for free. All you need to do is shoot me a WhatsApp 082 542 6659, 082 542 6659. We are quite fully booked, but the team will give you the dates and the times that are available. It will be after hours, so starting at 6, and we'll go on for 90 minutes unpacking your problem. They'll ask you a bunch of questions around what you want to achieve, where you're currently struggling, and give me at least 2 to 3 days to properly prepare so that when we sit like this, it's going to be 90 minutes of value. The last guy that we had here, I think it was 25 minutes into it. He says, "You've paid my money back, I'm leaving." I said, "Bro, we have 55, 65, whatever the time is. I've prepared, like, you think I gave you value enough, prepared lots more. You cannot open your phone. If somebody's been on your phone, on your feed the whole time lately, this is why. We gave him a killer social media strategy. So we go hard 90 minutes. I thoroughly prepare for your issue, and I will always try and give you better than I found it. Between now and then, I think the next customer training is on Wednesday. I'm not sure about an auction tomorrow. We're still going to check in with the depot. And then we've got an event on Friday that we're going to do a live auction from an event where women are going to be doing clay dive. It's very dangerous.
Yes, and Bobby will be wearing a dress.
I'm not wearing a freaking dress. You're crazy. I'm not wearing a dress. I'm not wearing a dress. But there's going to be women in dresses handling clay dive weapons. So we'll see what happens. My life insurance is in order. I'm going to a better place than this place. So if we die, we die. But between now and then, Uncle Bob's out. Thank you guys. You were great. Bye bye.